We are often taught history as a clean, continuous progression. From the first cities of Mesopotamia to the digital age, we imagine a timeline where every major event is documented, preserved, and ready for study. But the record is far more fragmented. Our past is a book with half its pages ripped out, and entire chapters left completely blank. This is the enigma of vanished history. The volume of human experience that has disappeared into the void vastly outweighs the tiny fraction that survives to the present day. Dominant Bronze Age empires have vanished from the map. Foundational philosophical texts are gone. The basic daily routines of entire social classes have been wiped clean from our collective memory. These historical voids are not random accidents. They are the consistent output of specific, identifiable mechanics of erasure. Understanding exactly how history vanishes allows us to measure the true shape and scale of everything we have forgotten. The natural environment actively combats human legacy. The moment a city is abandoned, the earth begins working to reclaim the site. This highlights the first engine of erasure, the physical vulnerability of the materials we use to record our lives. This chart compares the baseline lifespans of common recording mediums. Under ideal conditions, papyrus and wood might last a few centuries, while baked clay and carved stone can endure for millennia. When moisture and acidity enter the environment, the lifespan of organic records plummets. This natural physical breakdown of the record over thousands of years is known as taphonomic loss. It forces us to view ancient civilizations through a narrow, distorted lens, where our only evidence is often their most durable architecture and garbage. While nature erodes our history slowly, humans can destroy it instantly. Within our centers of political power, history is a resource to be curated and manipulated. This is our second engine, intentional erasure. Here, history does not fade naturally, it is deliberately murdered by human actors. Institutional erasure often takes the form of damnatio memoriae, the condemnation of memory. It is a systematic effort to strike an individual or a faction from existence. Achieving this requires physical violence against the record, chiseling names off public monuments, burning state libraries, and melting down the coinage of previous regimes. Victorious empires or religious factions use this destruction to secure their own legitimacy, burying the achievements of their predecessors to ensure their own narrative remains the only one available. This creates artificial mysteries, such as these stark gaps in dynastic successions, where a specific ruler's entire era has been surgically removed from the timeline. These voids define history as a curated narrative, forged by those with the power to decide what is worth remembering and what must be destroyed. Beyond the reach of emperors, in the fields and city streets where most humans lived, lies the largest void of all. This is archival silence, the history that was never written down in the first place. The vast majority of human experience belongs to peasants, women, and marginalized groups. Throughout history, these populations lacked the literacy or social capital to document their own lives. This creates a historical asymmetry. On the left, the massive population of the common class. On the right, the volume of surviving historical records, which is weighted almost exclusively to the tiny elite at the top. This systemic silence leaves the everyday lived reality of 99% of our ancestors as our species' most enduring mystery. If we return to our shattered timeline with this understanding, we see the missing pages in a new light. Modern historians and archaeologists treat these voids as structural markers that can be mapped and interpreted. Consider this map. We can verify the existence of a vanished empire by observing how the trade routes and defensive walls of its neighbors behave. When they abruptly curve to avoid a central void, the empty space reveals the exact borders of what was lost. An unsolved mystery is a vital data point. By analyzing what was physically destroyed, what was intentionally erased, or historically silenced, we expose the specific power structures and anxieties of our ancestors. The gaps reveal the priorities of the past as clearly as surviving facts.